because I was made for so much more. I am your child, and I'm worth fighting for. Oh, heavy with the weight of my mistakes, you carried me and refused to let me sink under the pressure. You meant for me to soar. I am your child, and I'm worth fighting for. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard all you have planned for me, and nothing can separate me from your love when there's so much more still worth fighting for. Now I'm moving by faith and not by sight towards victory. By the power of your might, you're straightening out my path, opening every door. I am your child, and I'm worth fighting for. Eyes haven't seen, no ears haven't heard all you have planned for me, and nothing, no nothing can separate me from your love when there's so much more. Yes, so worth fighting. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard all your plans for me, and nothing can separate me from your love when there's so much more still worth fighting for. And that's why I'm pressing towards the mark, cause the calling on my life is worth fighting for. And I'll keep my mind stayed on you, Jesus, because the peace it brings is worth fighting for. And I'll be faithful to my wife and children, because my family is worth fighting for. No, this world is not my home, but your kingdom here is worth fighting for. I got a mansion over in glory, and my new home is worth fighting for. Till I see it, I'll shout out hallelujah here, cause my praise is worth fighting for. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Life with you is worth fighting for. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Life with you is worth fighting. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. There is so much more still worth. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. There is so much more still worth fighting for. Hey, hey. If you believe you're worth fighting for, shout to the Lord. There is so much more still. Speak to your spirit right now. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard. There is so much more. Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard all you have planned for me. Y'all help me say that. Say it one more time for me. Ears haven't heard.
Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, all you have planned for me. There is so much more still worth fighting for.
Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine.
Inside of me, what you do and do work in me, and I do things inside of me, what you do and do work in me. Oh, Lord, have your way. I pray I must work the works of him that seems to run it every day. Come
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants.
Back on 980, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
And hello. Yes, I'm in the studio.
Yes, she is, ladies and gentlemen. She's back. And hello, everybody. Good evening.
And Emily is out today. She's not going to join us. She's moving into her new spot, so she won't be.
Yeah, what she's got going is more important than us.
Well, that's what she tells us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But, you know, for the last.
I sure hope she's listening too.
I do too.
Yeah, because, you know, but then again, we're not that important. She's probably not listening to
She's
us.
probably not listening to, because that's how she does, because she
That's
don't
how
really
she
care.
is, yeah.
You know, any other time she come with her hair sticking up and stuff and come in and roll in and stuff like that. And,
Yep.
and making cracks about me not being able to get on
Yep.
to the internet and things like that, because I've been at home for how many weeks have I been at home?
You've been there a couple of weeks.
I would say
chilling with Henry.
No,
Yes,
for you guys that are out there listening, I really, 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 really appreciate your prayers.
Thank you so much.
Because I finally found out just how sick I was. The doctor said to me today, you know, when you came in, I thought you were going to lose your sight, because my eyes were just that bad. They think I have this thing. I think I might have told you, neurotrophic keratitis. And it was bad. And I've been having to use 2 types of eye drops of antibiotic and steroid. and I've used those for a while. And then I have to put this grease in at night. And so because I was compliant and did what they told me, and believe me, it was a lot of work. I now see better. I got to go see a cornea specialist in Atlanta, but I am so much better. At least I can halfway drive. I'm still light sensitive though. I'm really, really light sensitive. So, but thank you so much for all your prayers. I just want to remind those that Johnny said last week, I was in rare form last week because I was on pain medicine.
Yes, you were.
And I ain't take no pain medicine because I had a dry eye today. But last week, didn't you say you were gonna bring us a plate?
You know what? What happened was I was at the other place too long, but I'll bring it next week. I know. Listen, we're it's not Anderson's fault. It was my fault. They had them. I just couldn't get by there and make the show because I wanted to make sure I got here today. But next week, Anderson's Country Kitchen will be feeding the staff over here.
I told
at
Henry.
the Glory WDD.
I told Henry. I said, Henry, don't worry about me cooking. He said, well, you don't cook no way. I just want to let y'all know that's the kind of stuff that Henry say. See.
Oh, he picking at you about cooking?
Man, he be saying all kinds of stuff. I can't see and can't wash dishes. I do the best I can because you
can't feel your way to wash dishes.
No, I be a bit. You come over to the house and stuff on the floor like, I be letting the dog out.
You heard it here first. Brenda cannot wash dishes, unless her eyes are open.
Well, and so I have crumbs on the floor, and I get Prince to be walking around there. Prince be
eating up the crumbs.
Prince be like, he cleaned the floor. He's like, I'm so glad that Henry had dialysis, so he could go clean the floor for me. But he be doing all kind of stuff. Johnny, I really appreciate the way y'all been doing. Y'all been having a good time. I'm there, but I'm not here.
No, but you're always here. You're always in our hearts.
Yeah,
in our minds.
That's what you said.
We're trying our best to stay on air, in spite of some of the things that you might say.
Johnny, let me tell you what happened to me today. And
oh Lord,
I have to say this.
Can you put us on a 5-second delay, Mr. Jackson?
Mr. Jackson, I ain't gonna use the words I used when I turned into a ninja. But
God. Cutting it close, ladies and gentlemen.
That number is 478-250-1444. 478-250-1444.
Just for a teaser, we're gonna talk about Shannon Sharp a little bit later.
We're gonna talk about Shannon. Yeah,
so y'all get ready.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, let's get ready.
So to the peoples out there that listen to me, and I have some good friends who are Europeans. I really do. And I hate to
So do I.
And so when I talk about, Caucasians and people, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not talking about the ones, and this is a good way to describe them. The ones who talk about you kindly behind your back. You know what I mean? Like if they in a space or something, they ain't talking a whole lot of trash, about black people or whatever. They're the same when they in your space, and they the same when they out your space. They just really, really good people.
Some of your friends.
Some of my friends, and I have some dear friends, and y'all know who you are. I ain't gonna call you out, but there's a group of people.
There's a group of people
who, when President Trump became president, they done lost their mind, Johnny.
They have lost their ever-loving mind.
Johnny, I started noticing things such as when I'm in the grocery store.
Okay.
One of the males, Caucasian, and I hadn't had to work, with black people. I hadn't had it with them. So if it did, I get them too. Don't want to get out the way. They see you coming, usually you can say, excuse me or something, or they see you try. They just kind of move the cart. This man just stayed there. So I just politely pushed him on out of the way. So, because that's what I do. And I said, I wanted to use this time to say this. I'm not my ancestors. I'm not, Johnny. My mama was not like her ancestors, like the ones who are real. I'm not a passive person.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm kind of mean. So, today, when one of them people got up in my face, I acted like a ninja.
Oh, did you?
Because I had to.
Okay.
And I'm putting it out there because somebody might have heard. I heard Brenda Williams do all of this and say all of this because, you know, when I ran for office one time, somebody said, well, you can't vote for her because she cussed. That's true. Because I be cussing people out.
Yeah.
And I had to cuss them out. And I'm
Have
saying,
you gotten rusty? Were you good at it still?
yeah.
Okay.
I went right on back to Pleasant Hill, Forest Avenue.
Like riding a bicycle, huh?
I ain't lying. I went right on down to Miss Fannie Mae house. Y'all know who Miss Fannie Mae is. You sell them plates and liquor on the corner. You remember, you know Miss Fannie Mae.
Lord.
Across the street from Sycamore Street. Y'all know Faye. Come on, Faye. Y'all know who Miss Fannie Mae is. And so, anyway, I had to go down there. And I thought, you know, it just kind of bothers me that we're in this setting now, Johnny, that you have to go, and maybe you wouldn't do it, but they wouldn't do it to you because you're a man. But for Black women, I know it's some Black women out there who are feeling the same thing, that these men will run up on you. I about need to get me something.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't run up on me like that. I mean, I'm just not that person. So, you know, I'm not, and I'm sure David Davis, if you're listening and everything, I'm sorry. But I'm just not that person. And I'm going to stand up for myself. You know, I'm not going to hit anybody or pull a weapon or anything like that on anybody. But I'm like, to the people that are listening, talk to your friends and stuff, because there's a lot of people like me out there who are not their ancestors. And they are going to react in a way that sometimes may not be the best way to settle a situation. You get where I'm going with it?
So everybody deserves respect.
Yeah.
In order to receive respect, you have to get respect. And it doesn't cost anything.
That's right.
To respect someone and to just be peacemakers. You know,
I try to be, but not really.
I mean, that's for everybody, not just you.
Well, Johnny, I was going to ask you something about what we did last week because it was so funny. I got in so much trouble for that right there. But how many? Oh! Did you see that it was Spain and France that have lost electricity?
I heard you. Somebody.
Yeah, I was mentioning that to you that their grid went down. I want you to think about what would happen over here if the grid went down. I want to say most of France, they lost their electricity. I don't know if they've gotten it back yet, but just think about the chaos that caused. If y'all are listening out there, be sure to watch your news and things like that. And you know, I'm not saying that our grid is going down or anything like that, but they surely did. Did it come back up? Did you see anything about it? Because Denver got my phone. She won't let me have it.
I don't know. I'm trying to look
But yeah, they lost electricity. You know, the planes went out, you know, as far as them being able to navigate the planes, that was messed up, the trains and everything. But it was in Europe. Am I correct?
You said Spain.
Spain and France. It might have been part of France.
A huge power outage is affecting large parts of Spain and Portugal today, including both countries' capitals, Madrid and Lisbon.
Wow.
Airports have been disabled and shops and offices are in the dark. It is unclear how many people have been affected. Parts of France were also hit.
Right.
The Spanish government is holding an emergency meeting in Madrid. Restoring Spain's power network back online could take up to 10 hours.
Wow.
The power grid operator has warned. The Spanish power company Red Electra said in a post on X that it was gradually restoring power in the north of the Iberian Peninsula. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to make sure that the people here, you know, was aware of that, you know, while I talk trash and things like that. And last week it was like uber funny. You know, we're just dropping a little science today, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
The other thing, and they're not really talking about it on the news a whole lot. I haven't heard it, you know, I don't watch so much TV.
Yeah.
Is when you see like your diapers and stuff like that, they need to make sure they buy it when they see it. Buy it like the pens and people who use that, adult diapers.
What's happening there with the tariffs or something?
I don't know what it is, but you can't really get it. Cannot really get
It's a shortage of
like diapers and things like that.
Wow.
So, you know, I mean, I saw it, you know, and then too, when I went into the store, there's something going on with the milk, because when I went in there to get some milk, you know, we don't use cow milk. We use almond milk, right?
Almond milk, okay.
Right. So, you know, I was in Kroger, they only had 2 half gallons of low sugar almond milk to buy.
Wow.
And I was over on Northside Drive. So that's a big deal, is what I'm alluding
It
to.
is a
Is
big
that
deal.
and some of the meat, it was some of the stuff that was out. It's like some of the dairy products were just not there. So it went, and I tell you what else, and this is weird, but Henry said it's because the salt comes from Australia.
Mm.
I couldn't find any seasoned salt.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
I use, yeah, it is. It's like little random things that that you may notice that you're getting out of. So I mentioned to people, if you have your favorite stuff, you may want to go ahead and get it. The other things that tariffs are going to affect is I had to get rid of all of my makeup, because
Really?
I had to get rid of my makeup because, I had that eye infection, stuff like that. And so, it'll reinfect your eyes. Da, da, da. So I went to the makeup counter to get me some mascara. And she said, all of their makeup comes from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what that means. If your makeup come from overseas, ladies, you want to go ahead and get your stuff, because the next round is going to be very, very expensive if they have to bring it in. So it's those kinds of things that the tariffs and stuff are affected.
Let's
What?
not skip over that.
What?
So are you saying that because of the tariffs, that there might be some problems getting makeup?
That's right.
They said that this year was going to be the year of revelation. Some truths are going to come out. If that makeup does not reach the courts, there's going to be some folk calling in to work.
Hey, lad.
I can't make it today.
I
can't make it to the ship. Come in with that makeup. I can't make it because I'm telling you, there are some people, they're gonna start wearing their mask like they got COVID or something. They'll start putting a mask on until that makeup comes. Because I know some people who will not
go out the
step
house.
out of their house without their face full of makeup. So if the terrorists, now Donald Trump, if you thought you were gonna get a third term,
oh man,
and you don't let these ladies get their makeup,
oh man,
buddy, you can forget it.
They can't get that. No joke though, because
I know you're not joking.
But while we're and you know what, I'm gonna tell you what
and
else.
If they stop the weed,
that's next.
No, there's gonna be anarchy. It's gonna be a fire coming.
Man,
it's gonna be.
They better get the fire truck. Let me tell you something. They used to say, well, black women use to weave and da da da.
No, that
ain't true.
No,
because a lot of these women, all women
for years, you've been thinking it was their hair. It was weed.
It was weed. They put them K-tips on there. I look at the TikTok news and I see these boys in that, well, that's what you want to call them. But they put them little K-tips in there.
Yeah.
$6,000 hairdos. And so these guys, some of these other ninjas who just like all that thick hair, they don't know they done bought it and put it in there.
Donald Trump, if you want,
you ain't lying. If you
want the lowest approval rating,
it's already low.
If you want the lowest approval rating of any president in the history of presidents,
he messing with
raise the tariff so how that these ladies can't get any makeup
and hair too. Because
if you stop their hair coming in from India, it's gonna be trouble.
I ain't lying because and let me tell you, it is already is because you can't even
be trouble. And I'm not trying to be mean.
Come on, Johnny.
Just being honest.
Come on.
And for all you ladies out there who try to pretend, I don't wear weave. I don't wear makeup. Stop.
They wear a lot of it, and I don't know how it's going to affect their lashes. But I thought, while we have a lot of fun, like I said, I just kind of wanted to bring out some stuff because I was like,
I was just being honest.
I really didn't think
about it. I wasn't trying
like
to be mean. I'm just being honest.
Right.
If the tariffs start affecting makeup and weed,
it already is.
It's going to be something else.
I'm trying to tell you because, I got a little piece right here in the front.
Yeah.
I mean, I just put a little something in there and, it ain't that much because it's just a little something. But if I had like all over, hair and stuff like that, can you imagine? I mean, really. And by the way, and while you talk about these women, let's talk about these men. What they call the man things that they put on the head.
Oh, these men got a lot of toupees and
the
man pieces and
Yeah.
These jokers buying beards and all kind of stuff. I said, it's a couple of guys.
Yeah.
They got it's like prosthetic. They just got all kind of stuff going on now.
And you know, you don't know who you with.
Nope.
You know, I saw where they taking shade a man's hair off. They call it a man something. I don't know what it is. It's like, but they take it and glue the hair on the scalp.
Right.
And then they take it and cut it and fade it in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even know that they got like a moon in the top of their head.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can't even go off on the women as much now, Johnny, without thinking
It's
about
just
the men. People fake. You don't know what you got. You know, and it's okay to have a little something. I understand enhancements, but I've seen the people that come out and I'm like, oh my goodness, how much makeup can you put on? And see, if you go to a professional, I'm going to talk about Emily. Emily don't make up for people like that.
Yeah.
She have made me up, I don't know how many times, but she has never made me look like I was getting ready to perform someplace or something like that. Big old thick lashes and all of that makeup to where I didn't even look like me. So I'm just like, okay. So the tariffs are going to affect somebody like Emily, who's a makeup artist, because her prices are going to have to go up.
Supply and demand.
Because of the supplies. So now, you know, instead of paying $80 to get your face whipped, you're going to have to pay $150.
But let me just say.
What?
I'm sure they'll find that $150.
Johnny, they ain't going to feed them. Well, it used to be they could sell their food stamp.
They're going to come up with that money.
Johnny, it used to be they could sell them food
Now,
stamps.
some of the people will go, well, you know, I just won't get it done, and they'll be fine. But there are some of them that if they don't have the money, they'll see you 2 weeks later, tell you they've been out of time.
That's funny.
I ain't seen you in 2 weeks. Yeah, you know, I went out of time. They're sitting in the living room, peeking out the window, trying to see who that is knocking on the door. Oh my goodness.
You know what? But it is, you know, I was starting to think about really, you know, how those tariffs are. And I was just thinking, I told Henry, I said, Henry, you know, he said, baby, you know, you got too much time on your hand. I said, no, I just really begin to think if people are not shipping things in, right?
Yeah.
The truck drivers, because, you know, whenever they ship freight in, right? Remember how the truck drivers, we depend on them?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, right. Well, see, the truckers ain't getting the business they used to get.
Hey,
why?
When those truckers used to strike and you didn't have toilet paper and stuff like that, and women couldn't get all their feminine products and stuff, you had a hard time. And now with the way that the means of transportation that they transport different products now, it could be a big problem.
It is a big problem because you come in, they come into port and they dock, right?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna take Savannah. They come into the Savannah port and they dock.
Yeah.
The railroad either moved the cargo, or those trucks moved the cargo. Well, if you're not shipping anything in because you got all those tariffs on the boat, that means that the truckers are going to be crying.
Trickle down effect.
That's right. The truckers going to cry, and Norfolk, what is it? Railroad.
Right.
They also hurting. So I'm like,
yeah, because the dock workers.
Come on, Johnny.
You know, it's a whole lot of folk affected.
It's a whole lot of folk affected with just one, with just like, I'm going to raise the tariffs. Well, then you raise the tariffs. But what that really means is you're going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah.
That and John, I had forgot about the dock workers. What happened when, because you're going to have to lay some of them off because ain't nothing coming in.
And then the people who work in the stock room, why do you need them? Because that's what their job was. Their job was to get stuff in stock. What about the people who work for the delivery places like UPS and Prime and all these places who had all these packages to deliver? Well, if those products are not here, they're doing it, and especially with all the electronics that we use and all the stuff that emanates from places like China and Japan and India. It's going to be.
I mean, that's what I'm saying,
and that's why they say the White House and those associated with it, when they're talking about implementing these particular programs or tariffs, then they'll say it's going to be a rough patch here, but we're going to have to weather it. And that's what they're talking about. It's like they think that, it's going to be a period where, the people who they're putting the tariffs against, either they're going to comply with what our demands are, they won't be able to bring things in. And then they might hold out for a little while, maybe a week or 2 or 3, but then they'll give in, and then they'll comply to what our tariff rules are. And then we'll start getting stuff back. But that's what they keep telling people in their thinking is what's going to be the thing you got the rough patch. But so everybody's not going to be ready for that rough patch.
But you know what? It's kind of like, it's an analogy to me to COVID in church, for example. Church lost a lot of people with COVID.
Yeah.
Because people weren't going. A lot of folks still ain't came back because they learned how to do some things on their own. So that's what I'm alluding to with these tariffs.
Oh, yeah.
When people learned that, well, I can't use all of this stuff. I got to go in here and cook. Or I got to go in here and do this. I got to go in here and do that. Once they learn how to save money, they're not going to go back and start spending all that money again.
That is a very strong probability and possibility.
Folk ain't going to do all of that because I was like, what? Oh, be sure and call in. That number is 478-250-1444. Johnny, I bought 4 bags of groceries.
Wow. What it cost? $200 almost?
It costs $107. And all I got a pack of ground pork, ground beef, and then I got a package of stew beef that was marked down. I got 3 things of vegetables, like to make some soup with, and some other canned goods. And I'm trying to see what was so expensive. But when I ended up, it was $107.
Wow.
And I ain't have about 4 bags. So my point is, it's going to be a lot of people that can't eat now.
It is.
So there we go.
It is.
And I just had to bring that out with that. So I want y'all to be real careful. Start looking at those grocery shelves and see where the holes are so you know what it is you need to stock up on. I told Henry, I said, well, I think I'm going to stock up on water. You know what I'm saying?
He can never have no water.
You know what I'm talking about? Just put some water up in the cabinet and paper towels and toilet paper. Because I think we import toilet paper. I think now. I don't recall whether is that true or not, but I think we do. But we'll just have to see what's going on. Hey, Johnny. So y'all know y'all been listening to Shannon Sharp, right? Have y'all been listening to the videos? I need somebody to hit me up in the comment section. Y'all know we were going to go there with this young man, this old man. Well, he think he young anyway. This old man and these young women. So what's up with that, Johnny? What say you?
Well, when I heard it, what it did was wake up a lot of thoughts that I have about this type of allegation and how it affects people.
Okay.
If he did it, then he was wrong for it. If he didn't do it, she is definitely wrong for saying he did. It made me think about there are a lot of people with these type accusations or have had these type accusations that simply were made up.
That's right.
And I've also learned in my 64 years on the planet that you really can't ever, as a man, I can only speak from the vantage point of a man.
Right.
I cannot understand why or what could push a woman to accuse a man of these kinds of things and not be telling the truth about it. I do not, and I know that it happens. It happens a lot, and I know that it happens. And I've even had some woman to justify a situation by saying, because it was said by the man, he couldn't understand why she would do something like that. And he also said, if I were to say something flirtatious or something to a woman, it wouldn't be her, because she ain't my cup of tea, ain't my type. And the woman said, well, maybe that's why she did it, because you compliment all the other women around her.
No.
I'm telling you what this grown adult woman's response was. She said, because you a man compliments It's
Oh,
5 women,
uh-huh.
and 4 of them, you say, you look nice today. Oh, your outfit is really wonderful. Man, you have such a beautiful face. Man, your hair looks so nice. And the 5th one, you say nothing to, but hello.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, you do the same. But a man doesn't owe the 5th woman a compliment. All he owes her is hello and kindness. But this woman told me, and she meant it, that it is a common practice of women that if you continue to treat them like, and she termed it as nobody, when the brother ain't thinking that way, he's not thinking of her as nobody. She just ain't got nothing appealing to him.
Well,
He doesn't owe her.
I agree.
You look pretty, or you look nice today.
And they were allowing you. And you know what, Johnny? And we're gonna still get
and it's amazing that this woman would tell me that is the reason why some women do those type of things. It is amazing.
It's amazing. And then too, it's about power and control too.
Yeah.
Because when you go through a situation like that, it does something to you. Now, I hadn't really thought about that until this time. I worked for a governmental agency, okay? And it was a guy. Oh my God, he was just the most horrible man. Oh, Johnny, he was just horrible.
Wow.
In fact, we had to go to a conference, and so the organization would only pay for one truck. I mean, for one vehicle. And so we were riding, he had his hotel, I had my hotel room. But anyway, we were riding down there. And so he was getting fresh. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. But what stopped me was, I was just like, I got to roll the window down. Because he had some gin and milk earlier today.
Lord help us all.
He had some gin
and milk. He was making a statement in the car with the windows rolled up.
I was like,
you had to roll the windows down to tone this message down.
I was like, oh my God.
Jeez.
I said, oh my God. This is just, it was bad, Johnny. It was just horrible. And so when we got there, I was like, praise God for this. And praise God, his room was like away from mine and everything. Mm-hmm. So when the director of the program, and this is great, the director of the program, hey people, hey Ricky, the director of the program retired or moved or something. So they made me they gave me a promotion and didn't give him one. This is what I'm going back to the story.
Okay.
Do you know that joker filed a sexual harassment thing against me?
Wow.
He filed an attorney. Let me tell you something. People can find a lawyer to do everything. Not hearing, but people can. And so he filed that against me, saying that he named the organization and that he named me personally, just because, like you said, Johnny, because I wasn't fooled with him.
Yep.
And so the judge called me in the office and said, Miss Sutton, you know what the problem was? And I said, no, sir, I don't. You let him down too hard. I'm like, he was drinking gin and milk and riding in the car. What you mean? Let him down too hard. What you mean? But I rejected him so hard in his mind that he sought to destroy me.
Right.
And he could have. If the court hadn't stepped in, he would have destroyed me over nothing.
And see, that's what I'm reaching out, searching for. What legal route should a guy take who is in a workplace and a woman is constantly just lying about this guy, saying something to him or touching them or something? And what is their recourse, or anybody listening would let me know, because I have someone who has this problem, and they're saying that they have never,
I'm sure they haven't,
said anything to that person of any kind of flirtatious
well, Johnny, I just want to know
anything.
I just want to know, do she have a gold tooth for the star in it?
No, I don't know.
I'm making a joke. I'm sorry.
I don't know if they do or not, but I do know that he's saying that, he's trying to be adult about it and try to ignore it away. You know what I mean? But He says it keeps raising its ugly head.
He's going to have
Any
to go.
chance that she gets, she says to somebody, he's saying something to
Well,
her.
he needs to go ahead and go to HR on her. And forget about that she has a family and children. A lot of times guys don't want to do that because they don't want people to lose their job. But believe me, when these people, and it can go to a guy like him, or in my case, it was like a guy who actually did. That's real talk right there.
Yeah, that's not good stuff.
But the problem is, when people are, if you reject them too hard, and to the listener or whoever it is, share that with him.
Yeah.
If he reject her too hard, she's going to go for him. So the best thing he can do is go to human resources and report it so that he have documentation ahead of time. Because
now, what if it is a proprietorship? Because that makes it a little bit different. Does that person need to go call someone outside of that company? Okay.
He need, before we had all of the dismantling of EEOC, he probably could have done something with that. But since EEOC is not really doing a whole lot, he just needs to go to the head of, go to the boss and just say, hey, I just want to bring it to your attention that Miss So-and-so is just being inappropriate with me. I'm trying to do everything I can. I really want to protect you and your business so that you don't get a sexual harassment charge that she charged me and you, and just kind of insert himself with the business so that person understand they have a lot to lose. So yeah, I would do that. But tell him I said that. And the interesting thing is, you bring it out, is that girl from Shannon Sharp had been on the fans only page. Now, if y'all don't, I can't.
That thing
right there. How you gonna go and say anybody did anything and you do any and everything while you on the fans only page?
That was a very interesting interview. That was an interesting broadcast with Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith showed a clip of Shannon Sharp speaking about it. And Shannon Sharp said, I'm going to be up front. Yeah, the young lady and I had relations. We had consensual relations. And he said that they had been together, but then she invited him to her place. And because for me, when it first came out, I kept wondering, how is it they got all this? Like, why would Shannon Sharp be filming her and then the tape get out and he's in trouble? But it wasn't him doing the filming. It was her.
That's right.
So she invited him to her place. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm not trying to defend him, not trying to defend her. But Lord knows he's the millionaire in this equation. And for her to be the one that invited him over seems like a setup.
It was a setup.
But it might not have been.
But it was a setup, Johnny. And this is what I'm going to say. This is why, I kind of wanted to talk about it on the show, that tell people out there, first of all, be very careful about where you go.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who taping you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying, Johnny?
Oh, yeah.
You have to watch your back, your side, in front, behind, and everything, because people are out there, and everybody that grit in your face ain't your friend.
Yeah. It didn't sound right.
It didn't sound right to me, although I do think Shannon have issues. I think Shannon got a lot of issues that need to be dealt with. And one of them is he should have listened to Monique. Monique told him what kind of woman to get, and he wouldn't do it. She told him to get you an old woman that know how to cook turkey wings. That's what she told him.
I saw her.
And that's true. He needed to get him somebody who was settled instead of somebody, because I don't know why Shannon was that. Really, I'm going to say this. I didn't know that Shannon was that green.
I tell you, I don't really see why he would go to her place.
I don't see
That's
why
the
he'd
part.
go with it.
Why would you go her place?
And this is for
knowing that you're a high profile millionaire,
man, and that goes for a lot of these ministers and things. I've seen ministers getting taken down, Johnny.
Yep.
I have seen them, and they'll go out, and I can't think, and do some unscrupulous things, and I'm like, you don't think about these people are taping you.
Yeah.
And then they take your tape and put it on, take it and put it on the air or whatever like that.
Yeah, Facebook will do you in.
And so I was just like, oh, that's a mess. So, Johnny, I just really, think that I appreciate you for sharing your insight on it. But I was just like, I don't know if it's age or is it he just stupid.
I just think it's the
Yeah.
age of
Uh,
what do they call it? That women's movement thing.
oh, what you think the women's movement has something to do with it?
What's the thing they had that Gloria Allridge and all that stuff?
Oh,
And
it just
see, I'm just saying, it's right now we're in such a, if you can sue somebody, sue them and get their money.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times these characters have used misconduct and have been too aggressive with some of these ladies and things of that nature. And a lot of people do sell out of court and this, that, and the other. Also, though, I think just like long years ago when the woman went up to Mike Tyson's room at 4 a.m.
Thank you.
There is no, nobody, please don't say that Johnny said she had a right to get raped or she had a right to get misused. I didn't say that. What I did say and am saying is, if you're a female and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're a bus driver from Pawtucket, Georgia, and you happen to meet some star, whomever it should be, some big star, Kim or LL Cool J or any big star, and you just happen to meet him and you go to his room
What you think?
at 4 a.m.
What you think?
You ain't going for Bible study.
I was in the elevator.
It just don't make no sense.
I was back in the day. I was, when I was real cute and everything. I was in the elevator going up at the Ritz-Carlton. This is real talk. And what's the guy with he got big, Charles Barkley. He's really unattractive anyway to me. And he was in the elevator. He looking down at me, talking about, I ain't got a D thing to do. I said, well, you'll find something. I'm like, see.
You didn't want the round mound or rebound.
Oh, no.
That's what his nickname was.
He looked nasty to me. But, and that's probably why I got in trouble with that guy because, I got a mouth. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like everybody. And really, I think it's disrespectful to do things, certain and come on to me a certain way. I have a real problem with that. And I had a real problem with him, I'm just like, you a random stranger. I don't know you like that. I ain't got a thing to do. Okay. So what am I look like? Something that you need to do? Because you ain't got nothing to do? Get out of here.
You said you had your Charles Barkley jersey on. No, just kidding.
No, no. And I don't even think I had on any makeup or anything. I mean, but my point to you is, you need to be careful. And even around here, you need to be careful now.
Yeah.
You don't ever know. And then too, John, I kind of want to touch on it. These old men and old women, because you always get on me about this. You need to be careful about running around here with these young folks.
Yeah.
Because these young people, they're different than dating someone your age. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree with that. And they're so into themselves.
Right.
A lot of them think everybody wants them.
Come on, Johnny.
And it's a lot of them, ain't nobody even paying you any attention.
Yeah.
Like how you think everybody wants you, but you got eyelashes on out to here.
Come on.
You got your body just about exposed to your skin, exposed everywhere. So if somebody wanted you that much, you wouldn't have to do all these things to attract a person.
And you wouldn't have to be on the fans only page. And I'm saying that to say, when I was single back in the day, I'd be out and I had a certain preacher.
Mm-hmm.
I want high profile preacher that was married. He would knocking his ring on the table. And he said, I'm a ring knocker. I'm like, what that mean?
What does that mean?
I don't know. But I know when he shook my hand, he took his hand and rubbed it in the middle. Y'all, you know what that means. I'm like, okay, this old man, come on. I'm like, oh my goodness. And ladies out there, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just nasty. And I didn't say anything. I just ignored it.
And see, that's the thing now. See, like you got your scruples and morals, but it's a whole nother legion of women out there that if he'd have rubbed them in their hand, they would have said, Lord, I'm going to get my cut note paid tonight.
They said old men give you worms.
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I can
No,
neither
no.
confirm
All
nor
right, Bishop.
debate.
All right, Bishop. I believe that alone.
I can neither confirm
But
or
my point
debate
is
that.
though is that it's true about these age gaps. Be very, very careful about them. I'm not saying you shouldn't have them, but it was, when somebody is like 30 years your junior or whatever, I'm like, what you do?
But now see, here again,
what you got in common?
I'm not just trying to be contrary, but I know some people who are my same age that are so childish in their minds.
Oh, old women do too.
Absolutely, sir.
What you mean old women do too?
The man said what he said.
He said what he said.
There are a lot of people because of that. They might be 57, but they got the behavior of a 12-year-old.
Okay, I can agree with that.
And some people are 22, and they walk in wisdom, act in wisdom. They behave as a person who has wisdom. So,
Johnny, I'm just saying. I guess it's different things, but the majority of the of people, when they have that huge age gap, there's something else going on.
There's a lot of differences, yeah.
And I think that I'm bringing this out, going back to Shannon Sharp. Shannon, he bow-legged. He got that little thing about it. I think
did Shannon turn you down, Brenda?
No, but Shannon looked like he's sweet.
Kind, what do you mean, kind?
Yeah,
and nice?
Like he may have some of them alphabets. I'm just saying, I didn't say he had them. I just said he looked like he may have some of them alphabets. Now, I ain't got nothing to do with people personal life.
Shannon is Georgia boy from Savannah, I think.
When you find somebody that's hyper, you know what? Okay, you have to really watch them, because usually they're trying to overcompensate for something they have issues with.
He's like the airline attendants for Spirit Airlines.
What?
You talking about sweet?
Well, I don't know, but he looked like he may be, and that and then too, for you to be with somebody younger than your daughter. And then, the other part of that is, are those women and men too? So I'm gonna put out about the old women. Are they people that you would bring around your family and stuff like that? I mean, it's embarrassing, really.
Now, for instance, okay, like Snoop. Now, nobody had a big problem with Snoop and what's the name?
I don't know.
Martha
Stewart.
Yeah. Everybody thought, you go, Martha.
Martha, they weren't having an affair.
No, there was a lot of speculation that they were, but nobody had a problem with them having a relationship, whatever their relationship was. Okay. Nobody went, she older than him. Why she with him? Why he with that young boy? Nobody went that. But if it's a guy with a younger girl, people always have this, but they don't say that when the older woman is with the younger guy, but like Demi Moore went and got with the younger guy. There's a lot of those
Patti
ladies.
LaBelle got one.
Oh, yeah. Now she got a 3-year-old, don't she? Patti LaBelle boyfriend in kindergarten, ain't it?
Ain't like she buying the video game.
How old is?
I don't know, but I bet he got. I bet he got all the controllers and everything to go with the video, because But I don't know why Patti got that man right there, and but it's okay. I know she got
women
bad.
Always, you go, girl. That's what women always say. No, when a woman's got a younger guy, women are very accepting of that. That girl, you still got your 500. You da. But if it's an older guy and a young woman, women just fuss.
Henry, we're not calling you Henry. See, there you go. Henry, you must be talking about me. But I'm just simply saying it because look what he lost fooling with her. And it's an age thing, and it's crooked, okay? You know what, Johnny, I can't tell you how many divorces I've done where an older man have married a younger woman, okay? You hear me? And he got sick, had a stroke. You know what that means, okay? Okay. He was still paying the bills with all her children, and she would bring other people in the house and be with them in the back room, and he would be sitting up there about to cry with them. And he came and told me about it. She had that man in the bedroom, and I'd be up there keeping the chill.
Okay, now Here we go. Now, earlier you were talking about age differences that these men are dealing with these women, that it's ridiculous for a man who's 30 years older than a woman to be dealing with that type woman. You said that.
Yeah.
Patty LaBelle is 80. This guy's 36. So let me look at it again, make sure I'm right on
80 and 36.
Wait a minute. 80. She's 80. And he is, where's the age thing? They got it somewhere.
I don't know, but you know what, Johnny? So what? Now I have seen LaPelle. I have seen Patty on stage. Okay, Patty.
He's 46.
He's 46.
So it's a 34-year age difference.
I saw Patty.
But the women ain't going around saying Patty ought to be ashamed of herself. She robbing the cradle. I don't hear women walking.
Well, let me just tell you.
All they saying
I
is,
believe
you go, girl. You go, girl.
I ain't saying that because
yes, women do.
Some do. But I saw Patty on stage and she had to kick her shoes off because she couldn't hardly walk because she got bad knees. And she strutted up there on the stage up there. And they had to put a chair out. Now, I'm going to say this, and y'all can read between the lines. Oh, she up there doing a concert, okay? You hear me, Johnny?
I'm listening.
They put a chair up there.
I'm listening.
Because when she get about halfway through the concert, sister girl got to sit down. Okay.
Yeah, she 80.
That's right. So, hey, caller, how are you?
Hey, Johnny. Hey, Brenda. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Let me tell you something. You are entitled to be happy, regardless of the age.
That's what I say.
You are entitled to be happy in this lifetime, regardless of the age or the race or the sexual preference.
Okay.
Now, Brenda, you know, I work with dead people. I've been working with sick, dead, and injured since 1973, when I started at the nursing home on Anthony Road. Life is short, okay? You know, you look at the friends I've lost in the last 2 or 3 years. Close friends, co-workers.
Yeah.
You lied, Robert McLean last week. Been friends for 40-some years. Whipple, friends 40-some years. Ed Wilson, friends 44 years.
Wow.
All on retired farmers. Greg Bedford last year. I mean, these are co-workers.
Man,
friends.
grew up with Greg and make it home.
Life is short. Okay? Now, the problem with that is whenever you are a high-profile person, you have a target on your back.
Yeah.
So that's Shannon's fault. Okay? That's somebody's fault for him. Now, he got to live with that. Unfortunately, it's an allegation that is staying you for life.
Right.
It's just like a child molester. Just like if someone see a man going out with a young person and they just friends, if he get accused, that's an allegation that follows you from now on.
That's
and
right.
Shannon Sharp, you know, he got money, so he's not going to be crying about money because he got money. But you're entitled to be happy regardless of the age, regardless of the sex, regardless of the race. Right out the gate this morning, we had a 43-year-old male that was found dead, getting ready to go to work. Mama found him dead.
Wow.
So that's my job. That's my job as coroner. The same thing as driving Amos. I mean, it is what it is. You know, look at me. I'm 71 and Sheila is 60. And we've been married 35 years. Been together 38 years.
Okay.
When I brought Sheila home to meet my mama asked for identification. She said, how long is that time for mama? She's grown. She's a nurse. Okay? I mean, 2 dead batters won't start no car.
There you go.
Wow.
I mean, you're to be happy. Now, what's your take on that, brother? Don't you agree? I mean, if you agree, fine. If you don't, we still friends.
But I agree with you. I just think that when you are an older person, you should be wise, and that if you're going to places like OnlyFans page to find somebody to play with, you need to understand the risks that go along with it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. He's not stupid. Sure, he knew what he was getting into when he did it. Unfortunately, it stained his character.
Right.
It's just like interracial relationships.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a friend right now We've been friends for 48 years. He lost his wife like 40 years ago. He never remarried. He was dating a girl. He was dating a black girl, and the black girl found out he was dating a white girl. She went over there and tore all his stuff up in his house. Now, mind you now, listen closely. I don't want you to miss this, Brenda. She went to his house, tore up all his stuff. Now, she ain't paying no bills in that house.
That's right.
The first thing out of her mouth is, you love white women. You love white women. All you do is date white women. Guess who she went to the mountains with?
Who?
A white boy. Now, that ain't the worst case of hypocrisy I ever seen.
Yeah, it is. She had, first of all,
America. This is America. You can date who you want to. When a black man is dating a white girl, all we hear is trash. But when a black woman dating a white man, nobody says anything.
Just like I was trying to tell her about when an older man, hey, Leon, when I was trying to share with Brenda just then, that there's a double standard. When the older guy dates the young woman, women just, why is he with that little young girl? But when older women date a younger guy, the women don't do all that.
Nobody says nothing.
They just say, go girl, you go girl.
Oh girl, you got your groove back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing is, my personal opinion is, I said and I say it again, I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what political party. I don't care whether you straight or gay. You are entitled to be happy on this side with the dirt.
Yeah.
Because when he called your number, you out of here.
It's over.
Well, I agree with you.
Let me ask you one more thing, Leon. Leon, let me ask your opinion on one more thing. Do you think that the law or the consequences should be made different for a person who accuses a person of rape or sexual harassment? Do you think that the penalty should be increased on those people who do it and are found to be lying?
Absolutely. Because that is the worst case of character assassination and slander you can do. Is accuse somebody of rape.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's why you should watch who you vote for. And whoever you vote for, make sure they got some morals and some standards instead of just pulling the lever.
But you know what? We thank you. Have a good one, Leon.
We appreciate you every time, man.
All righty.
And thank you for what you do for this city. Thank you so much.
We love you, Leon. I got your bicycle this year. Leon see me every year. And he said, I need to get my bicycle.
You got to get that bike.
And by the way, they're going to be more expensive this year. So, Leon, I'm going to have to work a little bit harder because he always wants his bike.
I got to slip this in real quick. Henry, I think the Falcons had a good draft the other day. I think they did pretty good, man. What do you think?
Oh, Henry ain't saying nothing because he done been to dialysis today and he tired.
Why you got to tell his business?
Because he don't care.
Lord have mercy.
But you know what, though? And I'm glad that you brought out the point of women lying. Let me see. I can't see what time it is, but,
6:25.
The lies, historically, there is a case right here where the man was lynched, and I think it's 1943. And the lady lied on him. She was going with, it was an interracial kind of thing. Right. White woman was going with a black man. And so when her family found out that she was going with a black man, they went up there to beat him up. And it was at the railroad at Crumps Park. And so when they went up there, she was, I guess she wanted to lie. And she says, oh, I know he was the one. I know he was the one. And they said, how you know? Because I could tell by the blood on his shirt. And that man ended up being killed by the mob. So that's the kind, and I don't know who this woman is, and I'm sure she's probably deceased now, but she cost somebody's life because she lied.
There's been a lot of that.
And I was going to say, I'm kind of glad that you brought it out because you shouldn't lie either way.
Go back through history. Look at Emmett Till. Go back through history. Look at the massacre at Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All began because this woman told these folk, this man kissed her and stuff, and they found out that they were going together anyway. And
so, and I'm just, and by the way, and I'm just saying with Shannon, and I have to agree with Leon, you know, Shannon must like a little bit of danger or something, because he knew exactly what
He
was
shouldn't have gone over
He
there.
shouldn't have gone over there. And
I
then,
fought him for that part.
and he, that's what I'm saying, he's stupid, because he went over
Jesus.
there where he's stupid.
He showed a lack of judgment.
You know,
Good judgment.
His STUPID, and that go for it. And you know,
I'm trying, Sean.
let me tell you something. Before the era of cell phones, you know, you could do some things, but you go to somebody's house, they go either way. They can record you in the bed sleep. You know, when you go to sleep, pull the covers back, take a picture, you know, all of that. I'm real conscious of things, okay? Because I'm just paranoid like that. But I'm like, you don't know what these people are doing out here these days. And you have to be so careful and watch your back. If you got a nice house, you know, and everything, you know, they look at you, Johnny driving a little sports car and everything, ain't never had no children.
That I know of.
That you know of. But Johnny, I know, I'm working on a case now, and I see you all in. The man was never married, never had any children, and her children are taking his stuff, what little he got.
Wow.
Okay.
That's rough.
And did it legal wise. So, you know, you just, you know, you don't think that you're a sitting target for people to come after you. Oh, yeah.
That's how them people be getting murdered. And people be trying to figure out why. Why would they do such a thing? Because they destroy people. Sometimes, you know, you destroy a person's character and take all that away from him or her. You creating a monster you might not want.
Well, you know, somebody said this, but I live by this. And this is, you know, I want you to know, this is Brenda's wisdom. Never, ever, 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 ever be with anybody who don't have more to lose than you.
Oh, we'll leave with that.
You know, that's real talk right there.
Hey, Emily, we wish you much success in your new location.
Yo, Emily.
Naturalista, baby.
Woo!
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the